Greetings, family. Empress D. In my happy place, look, the sun is like brilliant today. I'm enjoying nature, family. I hope everybody's well. And I figured I would check in. As I'm walking, I'm just thinking about how significant our upbringings are. Those first, I think it's up to 7 years of life, are crucial in shaping who we are. Many of us don't realize how much the things that we went through in our childhood shape how we show up as adults in our lives. I've done the exercise for myself, and I do it every day. I'm constantly doing this exercise with myself. And the exercise is, okay, what I'm doing here is not serving me. Why am I doing this? How can I stop doing this? And that's what I do on a regular basis. With everything. You know, if it's my diet, my daily practices, my relationships, all of those areas of my life, I'm constantly evaluating what's working, what's not working, the things that aren't working, that aren't serving me. I try to figure out, okay, what can I do? How did we get here? What are the actions that I'm doing contributing to being in this place that I don't want to be? And once I identify those actions, I change them, all within my power, family. And that's what we should be doing with everything in our lives. So I say all of that to bring the attention to our childhoods, right? We have to constantly evaluate ourselves and how we're showing up on the planet, in our relationships, in all areas of our lives, not just relationships, in all areas of our lives. We have to do that self-evaluation on a regular, consistent basis in order to identify where we're not showing up the way we want to. Identify the things that aren't working. Once we identify the things that aren't working, we think to ourselves, why? Why are we doing this? Before we think that, we think about what actions we're doing to contribute to getting to where we are. And then we have to ask ourselves, why are we doing this counterintuitive action? Why am I doing this thing that doesn't serve me and I'm doing it regularly? Why am I doing that? And oftentimes when we're doing things that are dysfunctional, it traces back to our childhood and how we were socialized, what we are comfortable or used to, we often revert back to, and also what we know, right? Same thing, right? What we know, what we're comfortable with, what we've seen, what our perception is, right? Because we have to remember, each child, their household that they grow up in, what they learn in that environment is what they perceive all households to be, right? Your perception is your reality. So if a child is experiencing constant abuse, this child doesn't know it's abuse. He just knows that this is what it is to be a child. You know, children go through this. That child doesn't have the perception that others aren't going through what they're going through, right? Because what we experience is what we know the world to be. And so that's why those first early years teach us what this world is, right? And so our experiences in those early years really shape who we are and how we show up as adults. Right? And so as adults, when we engage in dysfunctional behavior that's not becoming or serving to you, you have to ask yourself, why? Why am I doing something that's harming me? Why am I doing something constantly and regularly that is not helping me? And then we have to obviously address what actions we're doing, why we're doing it, and change that root, heal that root, forgive that root. It's very painful sometimes to actually go back and think, why why am I doing this dysfunctional behavior? And we're taken back to times in our childhood that weren't pleasant. You know, the mind does a miraculous thing to protect itself when it goes through abuse or trauma, especially when you're a child and you don't have the tools or the capacity to cope and reconcile with it. It's called fragmentation or compartmentalize or fracturing of the mind, unfortunately, where certain facets or memories or areas are kind of blocked off to protect that young psyche, right? And we all have it on micro levels, on macro levels, right? Like collectively and individually. We have so many different, I guess, for lack of a better word, traumas that we all have to reconcile, right? Especially those that we experienced before the age of 5 that shape our reality. Sorry, 5 to 7. Before the age of 5 to 7 that shape our reality. Anyway, family, I hope that we're doing that self-reflection. It's not easy, and it's time consuming. If you're busy, if you're filling your days and weeks, you know, most of us are working 40 hours a week at the minimum, right? And in that time we're commuting to and fro. So that's another, let's say, 2 hours times 5, that's another 10. So that's 50 hours a week dedicated to your employment. But you got to get ready. So that's another 10 hours, like an hour, you know, maybe an hour a day. So that's another 5 hours, right? That you're adding to that. You're at 55 hours a week that is dedicated to work. You haven't slept yet. Okay, so we're supposed to dedicate at least 7 hours. So that's another, so we're at 55, 20. Listen, you do the math. I'm not going to do it because it adds up. It's a lot of time that's dedicated to things that are not, like we don't have a choice but to do, right? And so it's hard to find that time. And I think it's on purpose to dedicate to yourself, right? And to dedicate to being quiet and having that opportunity to self-reflect. Our days are so busy. We get up, we go to work, we come home, we rest for a bit, we watch the latest game or show, and then we like go to sleep, and then we do it all again, right? So where is that time for self-reflection? We got to carve it. Anyway, family, that's what's up. I'm sorry for ranting. But I just wanted to check in. I hope everybody's well. I hope everybody's getting outside. I went for a walk with a friend of mine yesterday, and this friend said, and they confided in me that, you know, when they're at a low point, they decided to just go for walks. And they pledged that time, that solitude time in nature helped them on the right path, right, family? Or there's no right or wrong, thinking makes it so, on the path that's best serving of them, right? And so that's what's up, family. Nature is where it's at, okay? Thank you for taking the time to listen, family. I love and I value each and every one of you. One love.